Hi, welcome to another episode of the Energy Works podcast. My name is Blaine, and I'm doing a solo episode today. And my episode is on water and hydration. So wait before you turn it off, because yes, we have all been hearing since we were children that it is important to stay hydrated and we don't want to get dehydrated. And at the time that this episode will be released, it's summer, and we've had a lot of heat waves in the United States and Canada already this year, and I'm sure in other parts of the world as well. It's been really hot. And so this is a timely episode, but what I want to share with you today is the energetic side of hydration, not so much the physical side that we are all pretty familiar with. And as we age, one of the things that happens is our thirst mechanism starts to not work as well. So when we're younger, we get the advice, when you feel thirsty, drink. When you feel thirsty, drink. And that's what you need to do to stay hydrated. But as we age, the when you feel thirsty doesn't happen as automatically and as coherently as when we were younger. And unfortunately, what does happen to many people as they don't have as vibrant a thirst mechanism is they start to reach for more coffee and tea and things that dehydrate them and makes the problem worse and worse. So I want to share with you the energy side of hydration and how being hydrated affects your energy as maybe a little bit of motivation. And also, I think it's really interesting because, as many of you know, I come from Western medicine for decades before I started teaching Eastern. And this is something that really stuck with me, that really made an impact. And I thought that was fascinating when I learned about the energy side. So I'll start by saying that when you study to become an Eden Energy Medicine practitioner, you do pre-tests with your clients and make sure that all of their basic energy mechanisms are running. Their energy is moving forward. Their polarity is not flipped. They're not homolateral. There's many little pre-checks we do because we need to get all of that straightened out before we start working on the energy, or their energy won't take, for lack of a better word. It's just what we're doing isn't going to have as much of an impact because they have so many energy imbalances that it's going to be hard for their system to take these corrections. So we want all these basic things to be corrected before we start kind of getting more under the hood into the deeper energetic imbalances that they may have. There's just basic checks that you need to do. And one of them is hydration. And the way we check for hydration is we pull on the hair. It's called a hair tug test. And we energy test them right after we tug their hair. And we find out if they are strong or they are weak. And if they're weak, that means that they're dehydrated. And that, I accepted it. When you're new to learning about energy, there's so many things that are just crazy, kind of, that you start working with energy and you learn how it all works. And you come to accept that there's some things that are maybe you're not going to totally understand, but you know that they work because you've seen them work over and over and over again. So the hair tug test was one of those for me. Like, hold on. We tug on their hair, and that tells us if they're dehydrated. And if that is the case, then we make the person drink water, and we actually drink water with them. Because not only is it important that they have cleared all of their pre-checks and are hydrated, but as the energy medicine healer, you're responsible for making sure that you've tested yourself, all of your own pre-checks, and that you are also energetically balanced. Because if you're imbalanced and you're trying to balance somebody else, it doesn't work very well. So if your client is testing dehydrated, you give them water, you drink water, you sit and drink water together, you test again, and make sure that they have become hydrated. And I'm going to come back to this again in a little bit because it gets even more fascinating how this works. So our water, H2O, we all learned about this in school. 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen. So we are made up of atoms. And then in even smaller than the atoms, we have electrons. So we have these atoms, 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen. And the way that it's shaped, it's like a Mickey Mouse head. The 1 oxygen is this circle at the bottom, and the 2 hydrogens are up on the kind of upper side angles like mouse ears. So you can imagine the outline of a Mickey Mouse head. The bottom is your oxygen, and then you have your 2 ears at the top, your 2 hydrogens. The oxygen is kind of an electron hog. And so what happens is that the oxygen attracts down electrons from the hydrogens. And so that means that the oxygen has a negative polarity. The electrons are inherently negative. And so the oxygen kind of hogs down these electrons. So the bottom of the Mickey Mouse head becomes more negative because it's an electron hog, and the 2 ears at the top become more positive. And so what that means is that this water molecule it's polar. It's like it has charge. It's like a little battery. It has a North Pole and a South Pole. And it is inherent to how your body works. Proteins also have polarity. And so the negative side of the water, you say the south side or the negative side of the water is attracted to the positive side of the protein, and they connect. And there's this constant connecting and moving and shaping, and that is how the processes in the body are happening. It is also how chi moves throughout your body. And the lubrication for all of the chi moving throughout your body is water. So if you are dehydrated, it's like you have a river, but it's full of molasses. And you're trying to get clear, clean water down the river to everyone who needs the water downstream, but it's thick, sludgy molasses. And so this is how your chi is running. So when you're tapping and tracing and breathing and doing everything that you're doing on yourself to bring your energy into balance, everything that we all do who work on energy medicine on ourselves, it's not going to happen very well if you are not hydrated. So not only do we want to be hydrated from a physical perspective, and we know we feel sluggish, we feel low energy, all these things when we're dehydrated, because our chi is not moving, as well as the organs that are not working as well because they are dehydrated, and muscles and tissues and skin and brain and all of the things that rely on proper hydration to happen, or tapping and tracing and all of the work we do on ourselves isn't going to work as well if we're not hydrated. So when we are drinking water, we want to make sure that we have a little bit of salt, some minerality to the water. I'm guilty of this myself. I run my water through a filter. And when many of us do this, we're filtering out the essential minerals and salt from our water, which means we can be drinking plenty of water, but our body's not absorbing the water because there's no minerality or salt to it. So it's kind of going straight through us. So it's more effective if we have a little bit of electrolytes. It can be as simple as a tiny pinch of sea salt that's in your water. There's a product I use. It's Celtic sea salt electrolytes. It's not sponsored or anything. It has a tiny, tiny little scoop in it. And I even, for a whole 16-ounce glass of water, even just put it's like a half scoop of a tiny scoop in my water to help make sure that I'm actually absorbing the water that I'm consuming. And I can't talk about drinking water without mentioning the plastics please don't be drinking your water out of plastic bottles. The plastic bottles you buy at the grocery store, they could have been in a hot truck, and there's very convincing evidence. It's quite proven that if your water in this plastic bottle, if that plastic has been heated at all, there's definitely microplastics in your water. If your plastic bottle is in a hot car or a hot house or out in the sun or anything like that, you're getting microplastics. And really, microplastics are already everywhere. You definitely have microplastics in your body at this point. We all do. And so in addition to not just directly consuming this plastic water, when you buy plastic bottles, you are funding the industry that is putting all this pollution into planet Earth. It's like you're taking your dollars, which you're voting with, and you're, giving them to the company who makes plastics and saying, yes, please, here's my money, make more plastics, continue to put microplastics into our soil. So just not supporting the industry, and also trying to limit your own microplastic consumption as much as you can. But at this point, it's in all of our water supplies. We can just hope to not make it worse. So not drinking enough water, one more analogy. This is one that really resonates with me. It's like if your home has terrible water pressure. If your whole house had really bad water pressure, then when you washed your clothes, it wouldn't really rinse out very well. And when you ran your dishwasher, your dishes wouldn't get very clean. And when you tried to flush your toilet, it would barely flush, if at all. And that's what you're doing to your chi, your energetics, when you're not drinking enough water. As we age, the water element, the two associated meridians are bladder and kidney, and our life force energy is stored in our kidney. Our chi is stored in kidney energy. It is our well. And so kidney is affected very much when we are dehydrated. And we want to really be refilling, replenishing our well all the time as much as we can, especially as we age, because all of the years we've already spent of life has depleted our well. And it's going to continue to deplete, but we want to replenish it as much as possible. But bladder is also important for maintaining the fluid in our body, getting rid of wastes, as we know. But so is stomach and spleen. Spleen is working with our blood. And I don't know if you ever tried to donate blood or gone to have lab work done if you're dehydrated and the phlebotomist is trying to get blood out of your vein when you're dehydrated. It's really hard to do. And chi is taking this water that you drink and fortifying our blood with it. So we have this very, our blood is moving and our chi is moving and our organs are moving, and all of that is super compromised if we're not drinking enough water. Okay, back to the hair tug test. I first learned energy medicine from Lauren Walker, Energy Medicine Yoga, my business partner and co-owner of Energy Medicine Yoga with me. She founded and created Energy Medicine Yoga. And so, excuse me. So I was in Montana training with her when I learned about the hair tug test. And she had some assistant teachers with her who were advanced energy medicine practitioners from Eden Energy Medicine. And I remember learning the hair tug test. And so they brought one of the students from the audience up to the front, and the teacher did the hair tug test, pulled the hair, tested, the person tested dehydrated. So she said, okay, let's drink water. And they just sat up there on stage and drank some water, and we all waited. And it had just been, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes. And she tested the person again, and they tested strong. They weren't dehydrated anymore. I'm coming from Western medicine at this point, and so my hand shoots up in the air. Wait. I know that your cells are not hydrated that fast right after you drink water, like 1 minute later. How is this possible? And she said, I don't know. It just works. The energy tells me. Now we can continue. They're hydrated. And I was so skeptical. I was like, I don't know about this. So fast forward a few years, and I'm deep into studying Eden energy medicine myself. And I find out about this book. I have it here. It's called Energetic Kinesiology. And this is like a college textbook. I wouldn't say it's for the layperson. I really wouldn't recommend that you run out and buy it or anything like that. It's incredibly dense, but I love it because it explains all these things. And so there's this chapter here called Conducting Pre-Checks. And the pre-checks they're talking about in this book are many of the same ones that we do in Eden Energy Medicine. And the authors here say the first primary system check is relative degree of hydration to the tissues of the body. So even in this book, number one pre-check you have to do, make sure that your patient is hydrated. So there's a whole bunch of text in here about water and hydrogen bonding. And I gave you kind of the, explain it to an 8th grader kind of way. This goes into much details. But the body depends, I'm reading here, the body depends greatly on having adequate hydration, that is enough water. Without pure water, the body's electromagnetic and physiological systems are impaired. For instance, the lymphatic drainage and organ function are impaired. The body needs sufficient water to hydrate the tissues so that they maintain their proper electromagnetic potential and physiological function. Water is essential for all metabolic processes because it is the primary solvent in the body and is necessary for electrical, electromagnetic, and neurophysiological signaling. It is also essential that the body be adequately hydrated, both to be able to accurately access information and for the indicator muscle to operate properly. And when we're working with people in energy medicine, we're depending on these indicator muscles because we're testing all the way through. We've done a correction. Did the correction take? Yes or no? And so we're constantly running these tests on people. And so this is saying right here, we can't count on the tests if the person is dehydrated. And so goes on to explain how the hair tug test, and that's how you check. And here's the part that explained everything to me. Okay, I had to flip to the page. Certainly, this was me. This was me when I was in this class the first time in energy medicine yoga. Certainly, one of the most incredible observations in kinesiology is to have someone perform this hair tug test and finds that they are dehydrated via the indicator change, then to drink a glass of water and find they now test hydrated. How can you be hydrated in less than a minute? That was my question. Here's the answer. It's in this energetic kinesiology book. Are you ready? Are you like bated breath here? Okay. As you drink water, the capillaries of the roof of the mouth directly beneath the hypothalamus absorb water and immediately relay this information to the circumventricular organs monitoring osmolarity. By the rate of decrease in the viscosity of the blood, these sensors know if you have drunk enough water to satisfy your hydration status. So what that basically means is that as we're drinking water, like the body knows how dehydrated we are. We drink water, we have sensors up in the roof of the mouth. It's sensing how much water is going in, and then it knows if we've drank enough to satisfy our hydration status. So we can do the energy test quickly. The sensors are like, okay, that was enough water. And the body says, we're okay now. We can continue. Isn't that amazing? So that's what I wanted to share with you about hydration. This is a quicker episode, but my intention is really just to share what I think is fascinating about water in energetic kinesiology and the way our body works, but also here in the summer or whenever you're listening to this, it's equally important If you care about your energy and you're actively working on your energy all the time, make sure you're hydrated or you're not going to get the results that you think that you're getting, that you hope to get by doing the practices. If you have any questions about this, please put them in the comments or feedback about this episode. Thanks for listening, and I will see you next time.